Hey, thank you, Chair Khanna. This is a terrific hearing, and I would like to direct a couple questions to Carol King. Ms. King, thank you so much for visiting my office with your colleagues to explain kind of background on the particular issues that we're talking about today. I guess the first question I want to ask you is, would you like to say anything that you haven't had a chance to share up to this point in this hearing?
Well, I think I want to highlight the fact, again, so many people talk about their concern for climate, and which is so overwhelming. The figures that Dr. De La Sala gave, like how over what we're supposed to be we already are. But the focus has been on coal, oil, gas as part of the problem, emissions, but I just want people to really recognize that we are logging in our national forests at a rate equal to the emissions from burning coal, that logging needs to be part of the discussion, and more than just discussion. I think that's the main point I wanted to get across, and the other is the misuse of our federal funds going to subsidize, pay for. We are paying for the roads that go in and for the logging, all the damage to our forests. We need to reroute that money to help people harden homes that cannot afford to do it, and to protect communities like the ones that Representative Ocasio-Cortez spoke about, and that Representative Tlaib also spoke about.
Ms. King, what if I'm an individual at home and I'm watching this hearing and I'm just thinking, gosh, I don't see how I could do anything to help. One person can't make a difference. What would you say to that, and what would you tell them to do?
That's a great question, because that applies to every issue that everybody cares about. People need to become involved, and more important even than becoming involved, or equally important, is become informed, and don't just get your information from one source. Use critical thinking. Look at what's being said and who is saying it and why, and who is paying whom to say it. And I think that's what I would say to people, certainly about this issue. When you hear the scientists, don't just say, oh, I'm confused. Really dig. Take a moment or two to just say, okay, I'm going to look past my usual source of information, but get involved in politics matters. You don't have to run, although if you want to, you should, but people should just be more involved, because it's life for us. It's how our lives are going to be, how your life is going to be, how your family's life is going to be.
I think that running for office is terrific, and running for Congress is terrific. Just please don't do it in the 8th Congressional District of Illinois, please. But apart from that, we'd be delighted. Let me ask you another question, which is, tell us a good news story, a story of what a community or city, municipality, a state, or even a country has done with regard to the issues at hand, and what can we learn from that lesson?
Boy, I'm having trouble thinking of a good news story on this. I would perhaps ask my colleague here, my fellow panelists.
Yeah, sure. Please jump in.
Well, I got a couple of examples because I work around the globe on forest issues. Costa Rica has a thriving economy that's based on ecotourism, and they've saved about 25% of their tropical rainforest, and it's driving their economy. We could do the very same thing. And one thing I wanted to share with the subcommittee is we've got these new numbers that we're going to be publishing soon based on the largest inventory of mature and old forest across the United States. We've got the first map and nationwide inventory of how much of these forests are left. And what we're seeing is that the ability of those forests to store carbon is massive. We have some of the most carbon-dense forests on the planet. They are storing the equivalent of 8 times the US global emissions. Now, we got to get off of fossil fuels. We've talked about that. The president also at the COP26 signed a pledge to end deforestation and global forest degradation. lead by example. We have an opportunity to lead by example to the international community so we become that beacon of light, that beacon of hope that we need to get through this climate and biodiversity crisis that the planet is in right now. So I'd like to get our nation into that leadership position, and I'm very pleased to hear what I heard today. I'm sorry Representative Ocasio-Cortez left. I wanted to thank her for the Green New Deal and all the work that she's doing in that regards. I want to thank the chairwoman as well for mentioning 30 by 30. That's an extraordinary pledge. It hasn't come to fruition yet, and we've got to get there as soon as possible so that we are the world's leadership on conservation and climate change, because our forests are a natural climate solution to the crisis.
Thank you. I yield back.